Hello, traders. Welcome to this live FXDD webinar with myself, Chris, from Elite Currency, of course. And we're going to take a look at the financial markets charts, technical analysis on this Thursday, the 7th of November here in the end of the day here, getting close to end of London. So what is remaining for today and tomorrow and this week? Let's take a look at the charts. But as always, this risk disclaimer needs to be explained. The fact that trading for exchange and global financial markets is considered high risk may not be suitable for everyone. Please seek the advice of an independent financial advisor for more information on that. And this webinar is for informational and educational purposes only. All right. If you are interested in seeing more videos, analysis, and live webinars, or recorded webinars, actually, check out FXDD YouTube channel. If you're interested in checking out the live webinars, then these two links are what you need. Top one is for live trading webinars and bottom one for live educational webinars. And we look forward to seeing you there as well. All right. So with that said, now let me head over and share the charts because we just had a pound news event, basically, with, of course, a role for the pound dollar and pound pairs. Sorry about that. I'm trying to share my screen here. One second, folks. So I'm having some trouble. Hopefully you can see the screen very soon. So we had a big pound event, of course, obviously. That just happened 2 hours ago. Pound fell pretty strongly. Based on that news, you can see finally, hopefully, the pound dollar here. And it basically made a continuation lower to test the previous bottom, but didn't break that bottom. That's pretty important in my view, because if my analysis is correct, that could be, if it stays above that bottom, it could be a wave C. So yesterday, and today, basically, this looked like a bear flag, excuse me, and there was a break, pullback, and continuation, and I think that could be a wave 5 of C. So far, price didn't break this bottom, so which is wave A probably, and this wave B, if that triangle or flat correction is correct. Now, flat correction can actually break through this bottom of wave A. For those that like wave analysis, at least you might know that. So even if it breaks this bottom, it doesn't mean that it's not a wave C. It could still be a wave C, but it's not a triangle. It's not an A, B, C, D, E. If it stays above that, it could be A, B, C, or it could be A, B, C, D, E still. So in this case, both options are still valid. If it is an ABC or ABCDE, that would indicate that upside is more likely at this point. And price could then, in that case, retest the previous tops in here. All right. So that would be basically around 129.75 in that case. Now, not that certain about the bullish bounces yet, because of the fact that 4-hour candle is quite bearish and quite strong as well. So I think it's a little bit too soon to say that there is going to be a bounce. Looking at the daily chart, price is now back in the 20 EMA, and this is basically going sideways. So looking at the daily, I think there's a fair chance that could be the pattern. Now, whether price will break this sideways zone to the downside or to the upside, that remains to be seen. But generally speaking, this does look a little bit more bullish, this pattern, because it's sailing above the 21 EMA, which is above the 144 EMA. But that doesn't guarantee it will break to the upside necessarily. If it does push through 127.50, then it could indicate a bearish breakout, and a push through 144 EMA with a flag after that could see follow through to the downside. On a 4-hour chart, so far, I don't see momentum yet. I see momentum here, and there was a follow through after that. I don't see after that any momentum yet. This is pushing lower, but no momentum. There are a few good candles, but ultimately not in a series. So from that point of view, this could just be a news candle. And I think that, therefore, the support is likely to hold, in my view. But yeah, it is a little bit on the early side still. So I think it could be still better to wait for tomorrow morning, because I don't think price will go that far anyhow. If it stays above this bottom, it's not going to make a huge rally in the afternoon of New York or Asian. I don't think so, at least. Even if it makes some move up, I think there's a fair chance it will retest the bottom here. So I don't think there's any rush in trading any reversals to the upside here, in my view. So I rather just sit on the sidelines, wait for tomorrow morning, and if there is depending on what kind of bounce or sideways price action there is, I'll make a decision. If it goes really flat like that, it could be a flag for, and if it breaks that flag, for downside. But if there's any kind of angle here, and then a shallow kind of corrective move down, that could indicate a pullback and a bounce and a reversal, in my view. I don't see any, all in all, this looks more like 5 waves completed of a bigger ABC to me still at this moment. All right, now if they're bullish candle, if there's any bullish candlestick patterns on this 4-hour chart, of course, that could also help, obviously. If there's a candle close that can close above the half of this candle, that would help. 5 to 6 candles not breaking this low, that would definitely help. On the hourly chart, I do see momentum here in this piece in this last fall. But that's not everything. It's just an hourly chart, and yeah, I'm not too convinced about that. I mean, here it made sense for that push lower, and it did reach the final kind of zone that I would expect from a wave C. Now I think there's much more space to the upside, as either if ABC is finished, or either as a ABCDE, or if it's a bearish triangle like this. In that case, ABCDE like that, then it will break to the downside. So whether this is a C, a D, an uptrend, more space to the upside. But I'm going to check it tomorrow morning. So enough on the euro dollar. I don't want to bore you with such an intense look at the pound only. Now it's time for the euro dollar. All right. So price on the euro dollar, just tag 110.50. It's tricky. I think it's still in a very tough spot here. At this moment, here price was making a flag, and it broke that flag and made it a lower low. So that could have been wave 5. Now we got another lower low. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This could have been maybe some ABC correction like that. Anyhow, like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. From my point of view, I would probably keep an eye on today's daily candle. Let's see. Hang on, folks. Now, I might be too stubborn, but I'm still, keep an eye on whether this is an ABC. I will eventually, of course, if price keeps pushing lower, eventually abandon this ABC, obviously. But for the moment, I don't see enough bearish push to necessarily say that is not possible anymore, to be honest. So I'm still, especially with 110.50, still this is possible. Now, so it depends a little bit on how price will respond to this lower low. A lower low could complete a pattern. And if there's very strong price action to the upside, that would kind of confirm that the wave C is finished, this bearish wave C. If price makes a flag here, or if it breaks and makes a flag even worse for the bulls, at least, well, yeah, I have to admit, then slowly but surely, this is probably not bullish in any case. And not sure when I would trade it necessarily to the downside, but yeah, if there is a break and I see a flag or a bounce at the 144 EMA, all of that could be reasons for shorts. All right, there was good momentum here. After 3 candles closing here for 3 momentum here, 3 candles indicating momentum, and we got a continuation of that so far. Let me put the fib on that. 1 second. Unfortunately, there was not much of a pullback after that. It just seems to be continuing lower. I don't see any trade setups right here, right now on the euro dollar. But I'm keeping an eye on it. If I see, I can only tell you what I would do if price reacts in a certain way. So if it reacts with bullish momentum like that, I'm going to look for a counter trend head and shoulders trade like that. If it breaks through 110.50, I will look for opportunities to the downside. That's really the max I can say at this moment, because very risky could be a long here, but I rather have a little bit more confirmation that price is bouncing. I mean, it's possible with a very tight stop loss at, I don't know, 110.35 maybe for a reversal trade, but just assuming that this ABC is finished. But I don't know. Seems a little bit too risky in my view. I'd rather wait for a little bit more confirmation about the bear bull chance here at this moment. It's really hanging. It's right. It's still not enough information for me to say it is going to make that a reversal or it's going to really break to the downside. Okay, so also today's daily candle would be interesting to see how that closes. If it ends up by any chance as a bullish candle, that could help, of course, the upside bounce. If it doesn't, if it's something like that, that wouldn't be too useful for the bulls. Adri, good evening. Good to see you. Let's see, pound dollar 4-hour chart, 129.23. Yes, something like that. We got 129.0807 as weekly pivot point. And if we put a fib on this potential wave C, 129.06 again, 61.8. So if I had to choose, maybe rather 129.06 as the 61.8 fib. But if it is a wave D, it typically would go a little bit higher, maybe the 78, actually, 129.36. Now, dollar yen. Dollar yen is looking very bullish at this moment. We got 3 bullish candles. And I don't think price is going to go retest this bottom. That's what I wished for, but I don't think I'll get it, unfortunately. Because, there was a retracement. I was hoping for a break here to get back to the bottom. It didn't happen. There was a bounce instead, and a strong bounce. So with that bounce behind us, I don't think a deeper retracement is that likely anymore, although you never know. But at this moment, does not seem that likely. Let's see. I mean, if it does make a deeper retracement, then that would certainly be a nice support zone at 108.40 here. And I wouldn't mind looking for a bounce there. 108.50. Stop loss would need to go below the bottom here at 107.80. And the target would be 110 or 109.80-ish, the R2. Maybe even 110.25, So those are the kind of the targets to think about. But I'm not sure if it's going to go that deep necessarily. That is if it goes to this zone. Either that or this bottom here would be bouncing spots. For the moment, though, I'm not sure it's going to get there because this was also quite strong momentum. So it could easily be a continuation and that this wave 4 is finished, bounced to 144 May, Max that I think could happen is that maybe a small retracement in 21 EMA and a continuation. So for the moment, I actually am looking for bounces at 109 for continuation higher and targeting 109.50. Not sure if I'm going to get it because price is going sideways above the 20 EMA. But if it makes one small dip, I'm looking to buy and continue higher. Now, pound yen, let me redo this again. Hang on. This, yeah, it's difficult to see the price action because this was such a strong move up that this seems so small. Let me zoom in, but then you don't see enough. That's so funny. Well, okay, let's zoom in then. A CAMACD is Nenet's method and can absolutely be has nothing to do with fractals or waves. Correct. No connection there. Fractals and waves is more connected to SWOT, which is my method. But although it's, the idea is to catch waves, SWOT is done in a way that knowledge about waves is not needed. It's more about moving averages, and moving averages then used as a shortcut to understand waves without knowing the waves in a way, patterns and waves, both actually. So it's based on Fibonacci, fractals, and the moving averages basically. So, but that's SWOT. That's my method. CAMACD is Nenets. That's more based on bands, ATR, CAMACD, MACD, Camarilla, and these kind of tools. Also some moving averages, but a little bit less, let's say, important. But certainly has a role as well. That's CAMACD. And so, yeah, pound yen, tricky. It looked like a good breakout because it was the third attempt. If we do get a fourth attempt, well, each attempt, the odds should increase, usually. This is quite a nasty zone in the sense that it's been quite long, and it's sailing above here with Fibonacci sequence number 7. So, the trend was quite extended. And if it gets in a range where after a huge uptrend like that, or trend in general, sometimes these corrective zones can be quite nasty. So I myself had a small win, a good win, and a loss on this pound yen in recent week or so. Yeah, now I'm looking for, again, a continuation because of this ABC seems finished. And ultimately, my systems are showing still bullishness. Yeah, it's tricky one because it's quite ranging and corrective. Ultimately, this is still testing support, and seemed like it was bouncing off that break of this resistance line with good momentum. Made me think that this is probably still a pullback from our upside, but it's tricky. It's tricky. It's it's a tough spot. So I did trade it to the upside, but it's not an easy environment. Let me say it this way. Not an easy environment. So traders that maybe want to have more certainty or more probability could be better waiting and skipping this one at least. But so far, not bad. I see at least a bullish candle. This could be a retracement. These three candles luckily didn't qualify as momentum. This is still in my view, the dominant momentum. So that's good for me, at least for the upside. I see a bullish candle upon the bounce of the 78.6 fib. Higher highs and higher lows so far. if it's enough, I don't know, but there are some arguments for me to say, okay, inside candle here and bullish candle to stay, enough arguments for me to stay in it at least. But that's about it. It's 50-50 probably. The R2R is luckily way more than 50-50. I'm aiming for 141.20, and I'm putting my stop loss below this bottom. So R2R is about 2.5 to 1, I think. Let's see, Adri. Yes, definitely. Yeah. Well, I think that CAMACD is a great combination of indicators and price action. So, for those that are looking for more indicator based, I think CAMACD is great. For those maybe that are looking for more pattern based ideas, I think SWAT could be good. So, everyone has their own kind of taste and preferences, and so yeah, that's really, if indicators, I think yeah, I agree with Nana that's CAMACD is a good one for that. All right, Euro Yen bounced off the 143 May, big pin bar here. Well, let me put a fib here. Very choppy. I guess that's not a surprise comment, but good momentum to the upside, good momentum on the 1 hour, good momentum to the downside on 4 hour. Likely that this is going to be a bouncing spot in my view. At the 143 MA at the moment. Too much back and forth here, really. It is mind-boggling how much momentum is going up and down here. This is momentum down as well. Nah, I just don't see it at this moment. Really a little bit too choppy for my taste. Ultimately, I was leaning towards up and then down and then up. But this is what I wanted to share. But I think it's just too, I don't know. I guess this could happen. I don't think it's worth trading almost because it's just so choppy and so impulsive within the choppiness. Let me say it this way. But if I had to trade it, I would probably trade it up and then down and then up like that. But I don't think I'm that interested in it at the moment. Euro pound going sideways. Dollar Swiss franc making a push up, but not interesting for me at this moment. Quite choppy markets at this moment, folks, and would need a clear breakout. Could be interesting for a bullish breakout or a bearish bounce, but let me look on. Let's see if there's something I can find that is interesting now or soon. I would not. Yeah, I would say that this is more of a retracement at this moment. Back into 21 EMA break, and there was a flag with momentum prior to it. So looks okay for upside. That said, it is the dollar CAD, and that could be quite choppy. But 15-minute world is looking quite ugly at this moment. If it were not the dollar cat, I would be a bit more thinking intensively about it. But if it does push above this fractal and I see a flag, that could be interesting for upside. But Kiwi dollar, I think, is something that might be interesting if I see a reaction here, a bullish reaction for potential head and shoulders. There is good 4-hour candle at the 21 EMA, 144 EMA, and the previous bottoms. There is a good uptrend channel. Sorry, I'll leave it like this for a second. Good uptrend channel. Bottom of the uptrend channel. ABC correction, perhaps. Sorry. And good strong 4-hour candle. So if I see this, some reaction to 6360, might be worth trading upside and a reversal. Hang on. Sorry, I just want to put a fib from here to here. This looks perhaps like an ABC. We've got a 50 fib bounce. So 63.60, maybe 63.54 are the levels where I would like to see a bounce. If I don't get it, I'm staying out because obviously, the momentum is still quite bearish. Moving averages are aligned to the downside. So this reverse idea, always a little bit risky from that point of view. So that could be soon, the New Zealand dollar. So I'm keeping an eye on this one. Dollar cat maybe, just a quick recap here, if I get a break and flag, but I'm not a big fan of the dollar cat. Dollar supposed to euro pound, I didn't see anything. Euro yen, ultimately no. Pound yen leading to upside, but looks risky. Dollar yen looking for a pullback from our upside. Pound dollar waiting for tomorrow morning to see if there's a bounce back into the 78 fib, for instance, and euro dollar. Ultimately, today's daily candle or a bounce at 110.50. Okay, that's a quick summary here. Let me move on then. Australian dollar. Well, kind of annoyed with this currency pair because kind of a little bit of a roller coaster in the sense like I got a bullish signal, but I avoided that. I wanted to trade it here, but I avoided that because of a strong bearish daily pin bar. Now, I didn't want to trade the pin bar to the downside because my analysis was still bullish in the sense that I thought of ABC and then it could be up. So I didn't want to trade that reversal necessarily. I didn't want to trade a reversal. I thought, let me say this way. I thought my analysis said that the reversal was not that likely to happen that fluently. But I skipped the upside. Then I got a great push up after ABC. So I thought that looked good. And then a pullback, that looked good. And price made, unfortunately, dip, took me out, and now moved up. So a little bit unlucky, I guess. So yeah, ultimately still a flag, I guess. And good momentum on the hourly. $38 fib bounce. Looking bullish to me. I'm just thinking whether, about how to tackle it. Well, let me say it this way. If there is another 4-hour candle now or the next two that can close above 6908 and would be at least 25 pips in size. So yeah, around 69.17. That would indicate momentum, in my view at least. And let's see. In that case, would look probably for a pullback into roughly 69 again for a bounce, something like that. Now, if it doesn't break, I think there's still a fair chance of upside, but I'm a little bit less confident in that case because of the fact that we do have a series of, it's very choppy and there are, several lower lows and lower highs as well. So I think if it does move down, there is a fair chance of a bounce, but if we don't get the break and rather a move down, I wouldn't want to put a pending order there though, because it could still be a reversal pattern and it could basically just continue lower like that. So what I would rather do is then look at potential candlestick patterns around the head and shoulders level here around 68.75 and see if price is going to make indeed an ABC lower and if there's a bounce here. If there is candlestick patterns to confirm a bounce, that could also still make sense. It could be ABC down and a bounce up. But we don't want to put a pending. We'd rather wait and see for price to get a confirmation and get a bounce up. That's if there is no break here, but rather a push lower. If there is a break, that would look better to me. In that case, pull back into 69 and continuation likely in my view. So a little bit complex perhaps, but I'm open to both directions because there is a 50 fib here from the higher time frame. So this could be a reversal process. That said, if it does break, it could move to the next fib at 61.8 at the round 70 level. So, all right, you're an odd. Yeah, I had a break, pullback, continuation at this moment. Yeah, looks like the trade or the space is behind us in the sense that the breakout was probably here. Now on hourly chart, 4-hour chart, there was really a very minor pullback there. So at this moment, it looks bearish, but it has space down to 59. But I would probably rather wait for this 4-hour candle to close. It's at the S2, so I think it's a fair spot where it can make a bounce and head up maybe into the S1 again. It depends. If there's a flag, that's great for downside too. If there's a correction, I still think that there will be a bounce for a move lower. It's also at the round 160 level. This is not a good spot. I wouldn't want to reverse trade it, but definitely not with the trend either. So looking for a pattern or correction, and I would expect a follow through for the moment because if I look at the 4-hour, strong downtrend, no signs of weakening as yet, and there is space on the daily towards that double bottom. So, but just not right now, not right in front of 160 in my view. Got a question from Adrian on the Australian dollar 1-hour chart. There we go. All right. Yes, if I see, well, I would like to see candlestick personally, candlestick reaction at, sorry, here we go, at 68.75. So 1-hour engulfing twin at the very minimum, if not, yeah, probably 1 hour, I guess. Another way could be on a 50-minute chart to look for a move down like that, then a bounce with some momentum on the 15 and look for a pullback that doesn't break this bottom. So that could be another method as well, or a move down, a bounce, a pullback, and then a breakout above the 21 EMA. Could be a third way, I guess. Those are some options, but I wouldn't want to go with the pending because of the reversal, overall reversal danger indeed. All right, pound odd. This is looking bearish to me. And let's see. Well, momentum could be over. I think a correction is possible. Just not sure what kind of correction flag, or if it's going to be steeper. Depending on that, I would keep my eyes open, just like with, I believe with, which was I looking at the euro odd? Yes, just like the euro odd, for more downside for the moment. But again, not right here at this moment, at least, unfortunately. Euro New Zealand also, I think downside is possible. It's kind of making a slight rising wedge at this moment. So if it breaks through 170, what is it, 173, hang on, 50-ish, a bearish breakout is possible. And aiming at 172.20 there. So that would be an interesting, I think, breakout potential. Let's see. Yeah. Got a good downtrend going on at this moment. Might be making a falling wedge too, but if it breaks here, that last push for one more lower low to around that 172.50 zone does seem likely, and would have good odds, I think, for downside. Pound New Zealand. Not sure. I'll skip that one for the moment. It doesn't seem that interesting at this point. All right, those are the major crosses at this moment. In my 2 cents, not really, I'd say not easy spots, I have to say, but yeah, we get what we get. There's nothing we can do about that. It's been quite choppy few days, I would say, relatively. Bitcoin still hanging in there with the bull flag after the spike up. Well, with Bitcoin, you never know, but it is usually looking bullish. If it pushes through this trend line, could be a trend continuation, but I wouldn't be surprised if it dips first before it rises. But bullish in general, either upon the retrace or the break. Well, Dow Jones is just extremely bullish at this moment. Hang on, let me get rid of this fib. Very, very strong candle, rising into new highs. And there was an ABC correction finished and a continuation. $120 points since the bounce off the 21 EMA. 130. Seemed likely indeed to continue as there was momentum, sideways zone, breakout, continuation. Unfortunately, this happened before our webinar. This looked good, actually. Other than that, now with the Dow Jones, I personally would wait for an hourly. It could still be good for a 15-minute correction, but there needs to be a 15-minute correction again. It could be one more upside, actually. But eventually there will be an hourly correction too. Odd yen, same like the Australian dollar. Could be, if it does ABC like that, bounce at 143 May at around 75, looking good to me. Stop loss below this strong candle should be enough, 74.70. R2 probably target 76 area. Gold, well, looking bearish indeed, and price already falling. But getting close into the 1471. That could be a bouncing spot. So not worth shorting right now, in my view. It's too close to support zone. And could be a bouncing spot, but definitely would need to see at the very least, 4-hour, if not daily candle wicks or sticks to confirm that. All right, regarding Swiss franc and CAD, I think the one of the most interesting ones was maybe odd Swiss franc. Let's check that. I don't have it. 1 second. Probably, I would say for the moment it bounced somewhere. I mean, if it retraces into here, I don't know if it will happen, but if it does, that would be nice. It would be ABC and a likely bouncing spot. And I think, but the stop loss should go at least below the 61.8 fib in my view. Below 68.20 probably in my view. Ultimately looking bullish though on this 4-hour chart as well. So a little bit of pullback would be good for continuation higher, I think. All right, that's Australian dollar Swiss franc I wanted to add. Otherwise, I think from my point of view, that's all. I don't think that I have anything else to share. Those are the most important things. Now, looking at the long term, of course, we have looking at the long term, I think from swing trading perspective, difficult to say. Not sure. Ponyan is getting a nice bounce here. Dollar yen not making the retrace. I was looking for a pullback into 109. Yeah, I'm not sure which one has the best long-term potential. The New Zealand dollar is not getting a bounce at this moment. Very, very strong. So still waiting to see if that could bounce there. Doesn't seem likely at this moment. I don't know. I don't have any. I'm thinking about what are my real favorites, and I must say that nothing really is in that spot at this moment. Unfortunately, I wish it would be different. But yeah, there's some, dollar yen I think could be good for upside. I wish that it made a pullback. I was already having some doubt about that though. Maybe still, I know sounds funny, but maybe the pound dollar up to the previous stop. But I'm not jumping for joy, as you can see. It's more regrettably having to choose one. All right, I guess that's it for now. Thank you, Adri, for all the questions. Great stuff. And everyone else for being here. I'll be back next week, but then with the educational webinar with FXDD. And then I'll have 2 weeks break with webinars because of moving plans for myself, going to a new place. But I will be back in December. Okay, so, but I'll have the videos that you can check out, of course, with the FXDD YouTube channel as well. All right, so good trading, everyone. Great days ahead, and see you soon. Cheers. Bye-bye.